He's not going to rotate, really, or minutes or whatever of the game, because... Very strange.
I mean, are they just trying to pick out any sort of stacks that might be happening so they can rotate?
Yeah, they might be able to... I guess they can gank stacks on the Medusa or something, or if the Medusa gets forced back into the jungle, maybe they can gank her early. But yeah, this is weird. I want to see how it works, if it does anything for them. Looks like, what, the Hawk just going to be blocking out the camps here.
Yeah.
Not going to be a very fun bottom lane for Tigers.
And as predicted, we've got Yamate having the 3 mangoes. Could have bought more, but I think just wanting to increase his base movement speed even more. You know, see very, very strong on the Abaddon. Ready, but he's got the boots queued up next.
Took the last hit there with the miscall, just securing the range creep. Just a little bit surprising given that the Terrorblade's already got the Metamorphosis popped. So as I say that, TB is still at 0 CS, so... 147 is coming in here to, well, de-hawk his camp, but...
Too late?
Yeah, a little bit too late. Gonna have to wait for the 2-minute spawn. And unfortunately, Ohio can just send another hawk close to the spawn time.
Absolutely.
Like, if he times it right, it could walk into the spawn box at 59 and still block it, so...
Yeah. Forcing early salve out onto Ohio. Obviously, very important to win the regen war early on. I feel like a bit more harass could potentially come out here from Unity as opposed to Tigers. Obviously, the Boar able to slowly chip down, and you know, Shadow Realm able to do some decent burst damage as well.
Yeah, I think this lane gets really scary once the Beastmaster starts getting level 3, level 5. You get that Boar upgrade. Oh, Raven already caught a little bit by the Brambles, just taking a bit more damage, knowing that the spin is still on cooldown for a bit. Zephyr actually brought a bunch of regen to this top lane, I guess, anticipating all the spam from the Abaddon. Still had a salve up his sleeve.
4037 was trying to scout out if there was any Hawk on there, but wasn't a Hawk, it was actually just the Boar sitting there in the camp spot. So again, it gets denied out.
Oh, DENDI chose to step up a little bit against the Death Prophet. They're both still sitting on a salve. So fine for regen. Death Prophet a little bit low on mana here at mid, and that's the power of the Mystic Snake, I suppose. Very, very annoying to lane against.
Got a mango being ferried out to him.
So what do you think at the moment it seems like Warriors Gaming doing pretty well in all 3 lanes. Mid lane a little bit more of a trade, but actually quite a farm heavy game in general. Everybody about to be over 10 CS on all the cores.
Yeah, I mean, not too much early aggression coming out. You've got a lot of these defensive supports so far, so especially on the Warriors Gaming Unity side, right? They just want to make sure that their Terrorblade can get farm and their Death Prophet can get farm. Beastmaster's going to get it pretty much regardless of what happens, both from guaranteeing that there's not going to be any sort of pulls going on because of the constant Boar or Hawk in place, but also just that great attack animation and ability to trade much more favorably in lane.
Yeah, Beastmaster's got pretty nice base stats as well.
And the attack animation as well is quite good. Going up against the Juggernaut, that's probably his worst matchup, and he's still doing very well.
Yeah. And Raven, I mean, they already chewed through all of his personal regen, and now the harassment is going to start adding up a little bit. Meanwhile, Warriors Gaming have loads. They have 7 tangos and a salve between them. Nika Baby wanted to grab this last hit on this top camp, but not going to get it. Zephyr choosing to run over to the right here. He's a little bit low on mana, but is wanting to secure this 4-minute rune. It is a regen, in fact. There you go. Maybe wishes that he hadn't popped that salve, but wanted to be in fighting shape. Maybe if the Death Prophet was putting pressure on that.
Oh, absolutely. They actually were able to get a deep Observer Ward down as well here on Warriors Gaming, so they're going to know if there's any sort of pulls coming through. Maybe trying to get one of his own, although Yamate not quite there for the timings of it just now.
Yamate getting chased down by Zephyr, who does have the 2 points in the Fate Bolt now, so I think once the Aphotic Shield wears out, it's not quite a kill with the Magic Resist. I think he needs an auto attack as well. But Yamate not going to get a deny or anything, just going to be forced all the way back. Zephyr still chasing him. I think that's a little bit of a waste of time for the Rubik, perhaps, and we are going to have First Blood actually down bottom. 1437 gets finished off. Raven hasn't used the spin, but also a little bit low on life as these boars keep working into him, and just going to be a 2-2 bounty rune split once again.
Nico Baby got pretty low as well on the Terrorblade in top. Velo doing a pretty decent job against him. You know, very even on the last hits and denies so far, but now with Yamate coming back into the lane, they're just going to be very healthy.
Yeah, that heal is just so much.
Well, I think they might have scouted out 1437 there, placing the ward. Cardi has aggroed onto him.
Okay, well with that they know that there's nobody bottom, so no reason to let Raven get away with anything down here. I'm interested to see if Felix chooses to rotate up, or if he's actually smoked right now. Looking to maybe make a move on this mid lane. Let's see, Dendi's a little bit of a difficult kill, but is he instead just... Okay, he gets a ward down. It's going to give some vision if the Medusa's playing inside of the jungle. And Dendi, alright, here they go. Trying for Exorcism also popped. Are there going to be any TP rotations? It is the Rubik making his way in. Dendi already completely out of mana, no stick charges. He's trying to get the Mango out of his backpack, but he gets brought down, and looks like Death Prophet just sees the Rubik and going to dive for a little bit more. The Ghosts are getting distracted, but now they find the Rubik. He almost gets brought down. Still had a couple of stick charges, but Death Prophet will be forced to back away from the tower. But still, kill on the Medusa, and they force both support rotations.
Pretty favorable there. You know, just getting the early last hits on, and even Raven going down in bot lane.
Solo killed by Ohio. And that's
hitting his level 6. Yeah.
He just got auto-attacked to death.
Yeah.
Too much more damage.
Raven not doing too bad in the level department, but about 1,000 gold so far behind in terms of the net worth. Well. Yeah.
27 to 43. Ohio's just demolishing him.
And I think that's just because of how much additional regen that he's had to purchase for himself. You know, we can see that Ohio's brought up into the Morbid Mask now, obviously building into the Vlads, works really well with both the Terrorblade and his own units, and it just means that in lane they're able to self-sustain much easier.
He's got the Roar now as well. This is a pretty big creep wave pushing into Raven. And 1437 also a little bit behind. Doesn't have boots or anything yet, so he needs to be careful. Warriors Gaming are completely in control of this bottom lane at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got the siege creep here, so I'm thinking they're going to want to try and keep it alive for as long as possible. We've got Raven spinning on units.
Spin getting forced out. Can they get the healing ward? Roar coming through. Is he going to choose to Shadow Realm the hero? Yes, he does. Healing ward still helping to keep Raven alive. Omnislash now coming in. Ohio. This was maybe a bit of a dumb dive at this point. Velo does TP in here. They get the lift back into the stomp, into the double edge, and Tigers find a fantastic turnaround. Just a bit too aggressive from Warriors Gaming.
Well, that's one way to turn things around. They didn't get rid of the healing ward in that fight, so he was able to position it in those trees. Even though he had the Hawk Vision, you just can't walk all the way past, particularly when you go this build, which is the correct build. No points in the whirling axes. You don't have any sort of tree cutting potential.
It was a really tough call for the Dark Willow to make. She could have hit the healing ward with the Shadow Realm.
Maybe just thinking the burst potential was there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was just hoping that they had enough damage, but instead they lose 2 lives and do let Raven back into this game just a little bit. Still not having a fantastic time. And we'll just be going for a fairly early game oriented build, heading into the drum. Do you think this is this is being the more popular build, I would say, as of late? People haven't really been going to Battle Fury on Jug so much.
Yeah, you just get to go into the drums. I still think you need something that can accelerate your farm, so it might not have to be a Battle Fury, but something more like a Maelstrom, just to give you that, you know, AoE damage ability, a bit of flash farm, so you don't have to use your Blade Fury to quickly farm down into camps.
Pop. They want Yamate. Can they finish him off? Yes, they can. Velo having a pretty good game, and we pointed that out as really what Tigers needed. He's already got his Vanguard up and can now start making some progress towards that Blink Dagger potentially. Do you think he goes Blink, or is he just going to go full auras? Oh. Rubik's in very big trouble. Zephyr does get the lift out, but very dead.
And Felix that time actually did choose to use the Shadow Realm onto the Healing Ward as well, so probably could have picked up the last hit, but choosing to give it to Ohio, get a little gold for himself, and it means that Raven has to be much more careful now. No regen still on him, another 40 seconds until the Healing
Rotation
Ward's
from
up.
the Death Prophet, looking for Velo up top, has another Siphon. One auto attack thrown from Nico Baby as he pops the Metamorphosis. And that is going to be a nice kill for Warriors Gaming. A little bit unexpected to bring the 2 cores top when the other 3 heroes were at bottom. And we now end up with a mad scramble for the bounty runes, but in that scramble, Warriors Gaming will come ahead 3-1.
Trust me, I know how to handle such
Picking up the Arcane Rune as well. Obviously, still already popped the Exorcism, so not completely ideal for him, but still can spam out a few things for himself. Quickly push the wave out, maybe farm the jungle a little bit. Just not be too worried about any sort of pressure on the mid lane.
I want to go back and hear your opinion about this Centaur's build. Do you think is it going to be auras and tank, or does he need to get the Blink Dagger this game?
I think he needs to get the Blink Dagger, but I think right now they're just worried, like, it just means he can do this, right? If he's got the Vanguard, he can just sit in front of a tower, right-click it down, it's going to start killing itself due to the Retaliate, and it means that he can fight into the Exorcism as well, because a lot of the damage coming out from the Ghosts is physical. You've got a lot of units with the Terrorblade, with Beastmaster. It's a lot of physical damage right now on WGU, so just wanting to survive for as long as he can.
I don't think damage block works against Exorcism.
Sure?
Barely sure.
I'm gonna double check that.
Okay. Hit that Dota 2 wiki damage block article. I know it doesn't work against wards, but... Oh, Dendi silenced. Velo also sounds like you have the Stampede. Now that this wears out, the Roar coming in onto the Centaur. He thinks he's tanky, but is he tanky enough? He gets the Stomp out, just barely escaping. Okay, Warriors Gaming just do want to stick around and put a little bit more pressure on the tower. It is a fairly early glyph from Tigers as they do manage to clear the wave. Did you get to the bottom of it?
Recent patch that they got rid of it.
How
Not super recent, no, not super recent, like 6.84, but...
Okay, right, yeah. Right. So, like, the Dota version that I was playing 11... How old is 6.84? It's a while ago, isn't it? Four years ago. Not quite 11 years.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You're just showing off your old school knowledge.
Exactly, right? I'm an old school player. Back
Were
when
you
I
a
used to
Dota
play
1 player?
carry. Yeah, I actually started playing when it
Board
Mocha.
Aussies?
Yeah, played a little bit on Board Aussie, mostly just with WoW guildmates.
Okay. Yeah, I was not much of a BA player. I was mostly just on Garena.
Oh yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower
Anywho.
is under attack.
We do have Raven split pushing top lane a little bit. This isn't a game where spin TP is completely free though, and he's already used the spin now. Does have the Omni Slash potentially, but he's being silenced and now getting run at. Could just TP, but looks like he could also just pop a drum charge and run away, and he will do just that. So pressure applied and a bit of space created for old Raven here. What is he doing? This is a level 6 Abaddon. You can't do anything to this man. I just praised your play, Raven. Now what are you doing?
I mean, it was pretty ballsy. It was ballsy as well, right? Like, because they've got good vision. The Beastmaster could have been there at any time just to completely interrupt what he was trying to do.
And he has no vision. He doesn't see anything. He literally sees nobody on the map at the moment. He's just seen the Dark Willow running at him. But that was very weird. Yeah, I guess he's just making spit. This game is very much all about Dendi, right? This is a Medusa game. It's not about the Jug winning you the game. It's about the Medusa winning you the game.
He's doing alright. He's farming the Tri-Camp. Net worth pretty much level with the TB, maybe a little bit behind. He's ahead of the Death Prophet, somewhat sacrificial because of the other lanes, but you know, not doing too bad. He'll be able to clear out these camps before the next set respawn, which is always good healthy. Just gives up more space for him to be able to farm. Gets right back into it.
Do you think this is the right build?
The Manta? I mean, it's not bad. It just gives him a bit more survivability, I guess. I mean, what potential items could they look to use on him where he would need to Manta out of it? Nothing really, right, at this point?
There is some stuff that it's helpful against, like Silence. Ooh, Raven. Use the spin up top. Ohio summon up the Necro. They've also got the Fear coming in. He won't be able to get the Omni Slash off. He gets forced straight into these brambles, and down he goes. They're looking for a little bit of a turnaround. Felix does just turn and put a stun out over onto Dendi, but Stampede gets them back into a defensive position, and Tigers are able to disengage.
Yeah, they got their target, although Velo has pushed this mid lane in, so they're going to have to worry about that a little bit in the future, and he's positioning himself towards these bot runes as well, so be able to pick those up in a few seconds, going into the Crimson Guard before the Blink Dagger.
Still not quite clear what he's going to be going for. This time around, Tigers do get the better of the bounty rune trades, as Warriors Gaming are a little bit occupied trying to take this top tier 1, though Tigers seem very insistent on holding onto this tier 1 tower. Do you think there's a particular reason? This is normally not considered to be a very valuable tower.
No, it's not. So that's just what makes it a bit more concerning. I guess maybe it's a bit less about holding onto the tower itself and more about just making sure that Raven can continue to farm in that area. You know, just having easier rotations up there. That's really where he wants to stay after having not so great a time in the bot lane. I think they do need to get a bit more vision up though on the dire side of the jungle, just to make sure that he is relatively safe. Really, all the vision thus far is going the way of Warriors Gaming.
Yeah, a split pushing ward would be really nice for him. Just anywhere. CTP's on the shrine. They could even plant this high ground, like the Tinker ward potentially. Raven spinning. Ohio once again has the roar available. Are we just going to see the same fate again? Good defensive swap out. Raven, though, still being chased down by Felix. The Omni Slash coming through, but it's just bouncing onto the creeps, and they've already killed off one. Raven so low, sliver of HP. Nico Baby now coming up. They're trying to turn this around onto the Beastmaster. Can they kill him off? They will manage to. It's a 2-for-2 trade as the rest of Warriors Gaming arrive, but the Stampede looks like it should be enough to disengage. Zephyr snags himself the miscoil on the way out. And gotta say, that's actually not too bad for Tigers. A 2-for-2, but it was a 4v5 fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And all this does is give much more space for Dendi.
Hey, Yamato. You're on the cliff now.
Does he have a TP? He does.
That was pretty funny. 1437 was thinking about TPing in, but then he saw the Terrorblade kind of moseying on over towards the tower, and I think he thought better of it. TP does a lot of damage at this stage.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Despite their best efforts, that tier 1 tower is going to go down, although Raven's rotated through the mid lane. Dendi's just been farming the jungle. A couple of stacks had been built up for him in there, and he's built up into the Manta style now, going into the Butterfly afterwards.
Straight Butterfly is interesting. It is a lot of armor. It's good against the Terrorblade, but
it's good against a lot of the units as well, right? Like, they've just got so many units, so any sort of dodge is just... The advantageous side of it is multiplicative.
I guess we'll have to see if he does just go straight into this.
Radiant's middle tower.
They continue to push up in this top side. Well, Zephyr's placing himself pretty far forward. I suppose he's got the Venge as well as Velo backing him up, and Velo looking to get some retaliate damage put onto this tower. Maybe just build up the stacks for himself, but we've got a rotation through from Nico.
Warriors might be able to get it. Of just dealing with Raven's split push. Yeah, he does get it. Radiant secure that tower. Warriors Gaming looking to take a tower of their own as they arrive at mid. They've got the Necro 2, they've got the Vlad, so do have plenty of damage for this. 2 points up in the Exorcism, also ready to go. They could maybe take this fight. Raven's running through with an Omni Slash on cooldown, but Tigers finally bringing Dendi kind of into the fold. He makes an appearance on mid lane, but it's just a short little cameo. He's back to farming right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, that Warriors Gaming haven't taken a couple more objectives than they have. I think Tigers have done a pretty good job, Velo especially, right? He's been able to push forward, he's able to take both of those towers in the top lane. Speaking of Velo...
He summons the Necrobook. Nice silence, gonna help keep him alive a little bit longer. Centaur waiting on the stomp, finally gets it out, but Yamate's ready with the shield. Velo defensively swapped away. Are they gonna go for the roar? No, don't even need to. They just burn down 1437 and then turn their attention back towards this tier 1 tower. Raven is doing his best to push the wave out, but they don't need the backdoor protection. They're actually going to roar onto the Medusa, but Zephyr just baiting that with the Aphotic Shield steal. Very nice grab for him. Rubik is actually really good against this support Abaddon. Like, you can fairly consistently steal shield.
Yeah. pretty competent. I guess just wanting to absolutely secure that tier 1 tower is the reason for the Roar. They know they're not going to be doing too much additional push for at least a little while because the exorcism was wearing off, so may as well just use it to secure the objective.
We do have a crown queued up. Not a crown, Atos. I just saw 2 crowns and Atos pushes for Death Prophet. Do you like this for the DP? Yules and Atos?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just guarantees you to have the suck off where you're able to regen a lot of health back in the middle of the fights. You know, you've got the Yules for a bit more of a defensive build, and Atos is a lot more aggro. You know, if you're going to be on that front line, you want to make sure that you can lock down and have the rest of your team quickly burst down a target. Whereas, you know, it felt like before, perhaps they were going into a bit more of a... you know, it has to be a sustained fight for us to win, as opposed to burst. But with the Atos, definitely they can pick someone off like, well, I would think the Rubik would be the best target that could be burst early on.
I like it as well against the Stampede, right? We've seen a few times where Tigers have come in, taken a couple of kills, and then just run away with Stampede and be fine. So Atos is certainly going to help against that. Alright,
Yes,
first crown thrown out, but not a whole lot really happening. Just lots of split push from Raven.
Yeah. You feel so tempted to use the Atos earlier on in fights, though, as opposed to, you know, towards the end or waiting for the Stampede, because it might be something that never comes, and
Yeah.
use it earlier on, it could be a kill that goes on the wayside. As we talk, Ohio pushing into the bot lane, he's got his full inner beast, he's starting to build into the Necro 3, getting closer and closer to actually purchasing it.
Similar to our second game of our last series, there is maybe that minor temptation for Warriors Gaming to think about high grounding here, but top lane has been pushed all the way into the tier 3, so Warriors Gaming just going to back themselves out. I imagine they really want to finish this Scotty on the Terrorblade before they do anything else. He's super close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tigers trying to make some kind of a play up here. Raven continuing to push things out. Ohio clips himself. Oh no, Raven just TP's out right in front of him. Zephyr looking like he might not be quite so lucky. Does end up running into the brambles right as the Stampede comes out. That's not great timing for him, unfortunately. And looking like he should get run down, though they won't be able to keep him locked down with the Cursed Crown. He does have the Aphotic Shield, so can Zephyr actually just walk this one off? All right,
I just ran
out of the shield. Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Poor guy.
Okay, they need to get more out of this Metamorphosis, so they're heading to Roche. They're going to pop the Exorcism for that.
Yep.
Rubik does have a buyback, and there's only like a quarter duration left. This would actually be a decent team fight, I think, to take if you're Tigers, but it's just dropping so fast.
Bottom tower.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, have they got the Abaddon curse yet? No, not quite yet.
They got the Brambles onto 2. Roar now getting dropped in the Venture Spirit. The Fear coming in. Centaur's tanky, but they're now running on top of him as well. Cursed Crown about to pop, and Tigers may have made a bit of a major blunder. Juggernaut does have the spin available. DENDI sitting up on the high ground, just raining down auto attacks. They do end up popping the ultimate on the Abaddon, and Warriors Gaming will just back out. Though those 2 kills were just completely free bonus kills. Tigers didn't have to give those to them at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about it, a borrowed time being popped on your POS 5 Abaddon, not the worst, you know. He doesn't have anything in the form of net worth. Got a Tranquil Boots, and he's building into a Magic Wand, which is, you know, his next big item here.
We've seen some very poor position 5 support.
Yeah.
So we saw that Tiny with his 16-minute Magic Wand. Now we've got Abaddon with a 23-minute Magic Wand. Not a very fun day for supports.
Who do you think's making the calls on Tigers for, you know, this stage of the game? Do you think it's 1437, or do you think it's someone else? Like, is Raven at the point where he's able to say, you know, I want to go ahead and do this now, or is it all on 1437?
I somehow feel like that Roshan defense was called by Philo, but it's really difficult for me to say. It's just based on the like positioning and the pings and
smoke
stuff.
bit.
Oh, they want the Death Prophet. Can they kill her? They don't quite get the swap timing. She's going to get some Spirit Siphons out, and the Abaddon's here to help as well. Breaks the lift immediately. The Siphons won't do enough to save him. Nico Baby's running in, thinks about this fight, but decides against it. Medusa is losing a lot of mana, and Nico Baby now just deciding to turn in and run at them. Cursed Crown doesn't want to hit the rest of his team, so Velo just going to tank it out, but Nico Baby runs straight past him onto Zephyr. They're going to come back for the Centaur kill later. They secure the Rubik. Velo trying to jump through, trying to TP out, but he's going to get feared immediately as now the Metamorphosis gets popped, and Nico Baby finds a double kill as they continue their march towards this tier 2 tower. Oh, just the missed execution there for Tigers meant that kill took a little bit longer than they were anticipating. They wanted to swap into the immediate Centaur Stomp, and it just didn't happen.
Radiant's middle tower is
They did kill off the DP, but she's going to be up in a couple of seconds. So, I mean, just look at how quickly this tower is melting. And this is even prior to the Curse of Avernus being put onto the towers as well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Manta Pop, DENDI, this is what your hero is all about. Trying to defend the high ground. They will be able to clear through the illusions.
Doing a good job. DP rotating down towards the bot lane, wanting to make sure everything's pushed out, picking up a couple of bounty runes. Just kind of trying to strangle the side of Tigers right now.
Oh, this is so scary that Warriors Gaming get all 4 25-minute bounties. Because DENDI's just got this butterfly. He's feeling strong, looking pretty confident. And then you look at the Terrorblade, and he's now 900 gold away from an MKB.
Yeah.
And with MKB and Scotty, he is just going to obliterate the Medusa, it feels like.
Absolutely. And, you know, all these little items that keep getting picked up, you know, we keep talking about how you want to make sure that you're as hard to kill, particularly if you're a support, right? Dark Willow has the potential for that. You know, you've got the brambles that make them have to move in a particular way. You've got the Shadow Realm that means you can get away, and you've got the Terrorize. And now the Abaddon, obviously the Borrowed Time, all the self shields that you can do. And he's just building into the braces, which I think, even at this point of the game, for someone like an Abaddon, it's still not too bad, right? It gives you some magic resist, it gives you some health, and it just means you can survive that little bit longer.
Raven manages to make a bit more space. But yeah, I totally agree with the little bit of extra survivability going a long way on these heroes. And Tigers, we talked about it not necessarily being a great game for Jug. Oh, Velo getting run at by a hasted Abaddon here.
Just gets
chasing
the
after him. Alright, what have they got? They do have the Mist Coil. They're just going to go for Zephyr instead with the Roar. He's trapped in the brambles. There's a shrine here just a few meters away. He does get the deny with the stolen Mist Coil. That's a nice play, but Warriors Gaming are still chasing for more. They get the silence onto the Centaur. Velo about to have some body blocks coming his way. And I don't think he's going to escape from this. Warriors Gaming setting up all the damage. He's tanky, but that's only going to mean it takes a couple of extra seconds to bring him down. And we've already got Nico Baby over at mid, popping the Metamorphosis, just looking at Raven. The spin's already being used. Raven's just getting chased down here. DENDI does manage to push back the Terrorblade, but he's still got Aegis. And I think the rest of his team is just going to swarm mid here. They've got the Exorcism ready as well. What are they going to go for?
Still got a lot of time on that Metamorphosis, about 25-30 seconds on it. Aren't really pushed in that far though.
Waiting for the creep wave. Oh, the Aegis is just about to be okay. Maybe they're not gonna try and go high ground.
He's building into a Dragonlance next, and then into the Hurricane Pike. So just wanting to be able to siege for as far away as he can. I think it's just all in this DP, just being that frontliner. You can even see with the Abaddon, he's building into a Aether Lens, so he can just stay well back, not at any danger of being picked off by the Centaur, initiating with a Stomp, and just, you know, again, increase the survivability of his entire team.
We might not even get to that point, but do you think the Terrorblade would take the 300 attack range at 25 this game?
I would think so, right?
Completely outrange the Dusa.
I mean, it either means that the Dusa has to let the towers go down or just get into a really disadvantageous position, and I think they're more than happy to do that. DENDI forced now to pick up the BKB because I think he realizes how dire of a position his team's being put into at this.
He is level 20, so it does have the extra Stone Gaze duration talent. And is going to be going for a Scotty, so we're not quite in Rapier territory or anything just yet. Oh, the fear catching out onto 3. They're going to immediately roar the Rubik once again, preventing any steals. Velo pops his auras, but that's all he can really do in a fight like this. Yamate is forced into the early ultimate. They've got the Death Prophet running in, but a big Cursed Crown stunning 3. Going to keep the Death Prophet alive for a little bit longer, as she now uses through most of Raven's ultimate, but this is not good for Warriors Gaming, as they're going to end up losing 3. Terrorblade with no Metamorphosis, and just a really weird place for Warriors Gaming to get caught out.
they got full value out of that BKB. DENDI doing a ton of damage in that fight, 3.7k. Able to swing it their way. They might be able to take an objective off of this. We can see Raven and Velo already pushing the lane in as hard as they can. And, wanting to take an advantage. I don't think it'll be more than this tier 2, but it's still something, and slowly clawing their way back in this game.
My question is, though, did Warriors Gaming actually have to take that fight?
Not really?
Because they landed the 3-man fear to start it, right? They had all of the decision-making power to just run away at that point. But instead, they chose to roar the Rubik and commit to the fight. Which
I think
silly.
maybe they're just thinking that the game has gone their way so far, right? And they've been very confident. Oh, no. 47's going to get away. Maybe just overestimating their team fight potential, because a lot of these fights where they've felt really dominant, it's been because of the TB being in there, having the metamorphosis and being able to turn it around onto the rest of the team. Whereas if the TB's not there, it's a completely different story, and maybe just, slightly forgetting that, he's the reason why things are really going their way.
Because if you take the TB out of the equation, then it's actually a 20k net worth lead for Tigers, right?
Exactly.
Gotta have Nico Baby there doing his thing. He isn't going for the full pike, it appears. He is actually he's got a 4-staff, and he's actually been flicking around different items a lot. He had a butterfly queued up for a second. He's got an AC queued up now.
Here we go. Here's the smoke.
What do you think is the right item?
They've got everything off cooldown. It's just the DP ulti that's about 10-15 seconds away, so they'll be able to take a full team fight here. Well, they wish that bottom lane was pushed in a little bit further, and really wisely done by Tigers, getting on this high ground, getting really good vision.
They see everything with this Hawk, though. Who are they going to go on first? Velo probably not the ideal target. Tigers regrouping a little bit now. Ohio jumping in, but he's trapped inside of the trees. DENDI does get the stone gaze out. Nico Baby popping everything. The roar now coming through, but Ohio's seen stone. He's in big trouble. Stampede pushing them forward, but Nico Baby's up on the high ground. They swap back Zephyr defensively, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Centaur's in trouble down on the low ground. Exorcism works him down as Yo is also chasing forward onto DENDI, and that MKB is just too much damage. Nico Baby finds the double, and it just seems like Tigers can't take this fight outside of their base. The Jug silenced up, right click down. He even got the Omni Slash off in that fight, but just didn't seem to do nearly enough, and the Terrorblade is here. He's big, he's bad, and he's in your base.
No more Exorcism. Metamorphosis starting to wear off. Maybe that buyback from DENDI will be enough to push them back, and it looks like it will. The Omni Slash having to be used to pick off Ohio just to be able to get something out of that encounter. But even despite their swap.
We have a swap. They're forcing a fight here. This is pretty good for Tigers. They can keep this going. Terrorblade going in. He doesn't have the Metamorphosis, but he's got the right click. He brings that 1.37. He sunders onto DENDI. They've got the chase now. He's slowed down. He's rooted. Tigers thinking that Terrorblade couldn't do anything without the Metamorphosis, but Nico Baby is going to prove them more than wrong. The Death Prophet even still alive, getting saved by the Abaddon. Triple kill for Nico Baby. Zephyr doing what he can from the sidelines, just stealing up the silence, but they're now chasing after him. Silenced, rooted, does get the blink away. No damage from the Death Prophet quite in time. And Warriors Gaming Unity can't quite decide what exactly they need to do. DENDI's dead for 80 seconds, guaranteed, but they got...
I think they're happy to shrine up, yeah. They just want to shrine, they want to be a little bit healthier. They've got now the double damage in this top lane. Not sure about popping it there, and I would have waited a little bit because it's about the same time. Yeah, it's about the same time that the Metamorphosis and the Exorcism are up against, so they'll still have a solid 30 seconds with no DENDI, with all of those abilities up, and if they could have had the DD alongside all of that, it could have been a complete just one-way encounter.
Straight into the base. Ohio with the roar. Onto the Centaur. Silence under the Juggernaut. Can't really do anything to help. Fear coming through. Find that first kill. Very quickly working through this tier 3 tower. You said 3 or 4 seconds earlier, Danog, and that's pretty much all it took. Actually, Warriors Gaming are just going for the throat. Straight onto the tier 4. Raven spinning forward. Exorcism now popped.
Meta's up
3
in
seconds
2.
to go on the Metamorphosis. Is this just game?
Yeah, it is. Meta, game.
Fade Bolt slows things down just a tiny bit. They're going to pop the Omni Slash and jump in here, but borrowed time gets popped. Raven's getting soaked up there. Death Prophet trying to heal. Might actually get right-clicked down. The Cursed Crown keeping them back a little bit. 147 with the defensive swap puts himself in harm's way, but game's already over. Ancients exploded, and Warriors Gaming Unity taking that in spectacular fashion.
Nicely done. Really having a set draft planned out. It was really cohesive, right? They always knew what they were going to do from the very beginning. From that second pick DP, following up with a Terrorblade, and I really liked that last pick Beastmaster. I feel like it rounded out the draft really well. It did very well in the laning stage too. Despite, Dendi trying to claw them back into it with some good decisions on when to buy the items, it just seemed like there were a few key encounters, even when they had the vision advantage, that went the way of Warriors Gaming.